Have you ever wondered if it's illegal to whistle underwater? Spoiler alert, it is in West Virginia. Welcome to the quirky universe of nonsensical laws. Yes, laws are crucial for maintaining order. However, some of them are just so outlandish, they leave you dumbfounded. From forbidden donkey rides to regulations on how to tie your shoelaces, we've got it all. So fasten your seatbelts, prepare your best facepalm, and hold on to your sense of humor. So let's dive into the world of absurd laws that are still in existence, shall we? All right, for our first stop, we're heading to the sunny state of California. Now, you might think of surfing, Hollywood, or even Silicon Valley, but today we're talking about canaries. Specifically, the California law that prohibits whistling for a lost canary before 7 in the morning. Imagine, it's the crack of dawn and you're desperately trying to call back your feathered friend, only to find out that it's against the law. This odd law dates back to the early 20th century, when canaries were a popular pet, and their singing was considered a morning alarm for many households. The law was put in place to prevent people from disturbing their neighbors with desperate whistles for their lost birds before 7 a.m., the socially acceptable wake-up time. In today's world, this law seems hilariously out of place. I mean, how many of us even have canaries, let alone lose them frequently enough for this to be a problem? So remember, early bird does not get the canary in California. Now let's cross the Atlantic and land in Switzerland. Imagine living in a place where you're not allowed to flush the toilet after 10 in the evening. Yes, you heard it right. This isn't some weird dream or a quirky sitcom plot. It's an actual law in Switzerland. This law was put in place to maintain peace and quiet in apartment buildings. You see, Swiss people value their tranquility, and the sound of a toilet flushing late at night was considered a disturbance. The logic does have a certain charm to it, doesn't it? But in today's era of noise-canceling headphones and soundproof walls, this law feels quite outlandish. It's like a scene straight out of a comedy sketch, rushing to use the bathroom before the clock strikes 10. Despite its absurdity, this law highlights the Swiss commitment to peace, quiet, and orderliness. So remember, when in Switzerland, don't flush after 10. So if you're living in an apartment in Switzerland, you better schedule your bathroom breaks. Next, we're going down under to Australia. Now, if you're planning to crash a wedding ceremony, be sure, at least in Australia, to leave your pirate costume at home. You heard it right. It's actually illegal to disrupt a wedding ceremony with a pirate impersonation. This peculiar law was put in place during the mid-19th century. Back then, pirate impersonations were a popular form of entertainment, but they often led to public disturbances. So to maintain peace and decorum, especially during solemn events like weddings, this law was enacted. Today, of course, it might seem utterly ridiculous. I mean, how often do you see a pirate impersonator crashing a wedding these days? But back in the day, it was a real concern. The absurdity of this law in the modern era is what makes it so amusing. So if you're planning to shout "Our matey" at an Australian wedding, you might want to think twice. So save your "Our mateys" for the after party if you're in Australia. Last but not least, we're flying to the vibrant country of India. Touching down in this land of diverse cultures and traditions, we're met with a seemingly ludicrous law. Believe it or not, you're not allowed to fly a kite here without a permit. Yes, you heard that right, a permit for a kite. Now let's dive into the history books. During the British Raj, kites were used for signaling during rebellions. To curb this, the British introduced the kite flying permit requirement, a law that surprisingly remains in effect today. While the law may seem absurd now, it once served a purpose during a tumultuous time in Indian history. Fast forward to the present day, the law seems to be more of a relic than a relevant rule. Yet the law persists, reminding us of a time when flying a kite was not just child's play, but an act of rebellion. So if you're planning to fly a kite in India, remember to get your permit first. For our final stop, we're jetting off to the land of the rising sun, Japan. Now you might be thinking, what could possibly be absurd about Japanese laws? Well, hold on to your sushi because it's about to get interesting. In Japan, it's illegal to be overweight. Yes, you heard it right. There's an actual law called the Metabo Law that sets a maximum waistline limit of 85 centimeters for men and 90 centimeters for women over the age of 40. This law was introduced to combat obesity and promote healthier lifestyles. While it sounds extreme, it has proven to be effective. Since its introduction, obesity rates in Japan have remained relatively low compared to other developed countries. The Metabo Law has not only regulated waistlines, but also sparked a health revolution, promoting a culture of fitness and well-being. However, it's not without its critics. Some argue that it puts undue pressure on individuals and promotes unrealistic body standards. Despite the controversy, the law stands firm, serving as a testament to Japan's commitment to public health. So, if you're planning a trip to Japan, you might want to check your waistline first. Or better yet, join the locals in their pursuit of a healthy lifestyle. After all, when in Rome, do as the Romans in this case. When in Japan, do as the Japanese do. And if you want to know more about such fascinating global laws and practices, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We'll continue to bring you more intriguing content from around the world. So hit that subscribe button and stay tuned with us.